All right. Good afternoon. So, I'm going to start by reviewing this morning's trade because I didn't end up streaming it. So, I was initially with a kind of low-key long bias because I wanted to see this level here get tested or surpassed for a reversal. Obviously, we didn't have that. We had a step down, and then another step down. This morning, I was looking at the daily profile, and the range was here, the value area was here, and we'd broken above the value area, and then we were kind of retesting the low volume node that was made here from the break of the value area high. And I was thinking potentially there was a valid long here up to here. Obviously that didn't play out. What actually happened is we had some pretty heavy sells on the volume on the footprint chart here, which took out my thesis. But the higher time frame structure is obviously very bearish anyway. And we've already gone a long way down, but we're still we still have momentum clearly in the same direction, even if it's slowing. I looked at the daily, actually not the daily. I look at the chart quite often. I like to start my day by looking at the profiles alone, because then you can then you're looking at seeing whether you're now. I mean, here that shows that we're extending down, where it's a trending day, and I like to see whether there's overlap between the value areas of the previous days, whether you've got a D profile the day before or a P or a B, like D here, for example. Then you've got a P, and you've got like a split, two splits, trending downward days. So here, so far, we've got a balance in the middle. We've got a trend. And we want to see whether we're gonna build balance here now, I suppose, because we've had a big move down. So I'm not really looking to trade anymore on Euro USD today. But the trade from this morning was interesting. I also found on the 1 minute, if I was really sharp, or if I had been really sharp this morning, there was a valid trade here. I know these circles look a bit mental because they're just drawn on, but I find it really helps me to analyze the big trades when I draw them onto TradingView after I've spotted them, after they've come in on MetaTrader on the indicator. So I find it useful. So here at the time we had this range where we were consolidating, and the significance of this range is largely due to the time of day that it's occurring at, that we're getting this range, and that's why it was a valid trade, and that was why it was interesting, despite being above the value area high for the daily profile. We were still within the range of this higher time frame profile that I've got on the anchored volume profile here set up, which is a bigger range that kind of starts over here. Yeah. So there's the value area high that we're still inside of on that range, and that's what I expect to break if I'm actually looking for a bullish scenario. And obviously that didn't happen. And then I had the big orders come in here, the big sell, these buyers getting squeezed, which is what created this move all the way down. And then you've got a previous balance level here from this profile that you can see. that ties in with the value area low of the higher time frame anchored volume profile that I've got drawn up for this range. And obviously I missed this trade. I saw it bounce down, and I saw that we'd broken the higher time frame value area low. We'd retested it, and then there were just these solid aggressive buyers with no selling coming in really. So I took this trade down to the previous daily low, and then the structural low. And since then we've just carried on. But yeah, it was a really interesting trade. You can see here the low volume node, the retest, the big trades defending the sells, and that was a valid trade. And this was here. You got these kind of wicks to the low volume node, so it was harder to get into. There was less, the opportunity was there for like 2 minutes, and then it was gone. So and here you had a bit more time to get in. So yeah, it was an interesting morning. And now we're looking at the NAS for the afternoon. So I won't trade before probably about, I don't know, 2:45, something like that. What do we see? We see a range. We see a value area high here. And a low here. We've got a big low volume node from the big gap that was left over here. So we've wicked into that. Got news at 3 jolts. So we can easily keep coming down. We are in a bearish trend. This profile is very much trending and very much bearish. Maybe we'll revisit this area here. Yeah. Maybe we'll look for that. I am going to consider this because we had a good trade this morning. We're up on the day, so we can then use that to justify a break and retest here if we get all the right confirmations for a long, because I know that we're moving down, bearish on the NAS, but it is the NAS, so there's kind of no reason why we wouldn't at least retrace after having wicked this low volume node and had a response from it. Obviously, if we just keep stepping down, that's fine. I'm not as interested in this value area low from the anchored volume profile of this area. I'm not as interested in the value area low because why am I not interested in it? We bounced off it a few times, we broke lower, came back above, bounced off it again, broke lower, broke above. I think because it's quite a tight range volume-wise, it's not that ideal as a break and retest. I'd want to see a break of the actual low here to validate going lower, because there's obviously the value area of this daily profile is right at the bottom here. So we have got some aggressive sells in here and an aggressive buy as well. Again, annotating what I see into TradingView from MetaTrader, I'm finding really useful. Aggressive sellers still on Euro USD, but I'm gonna leave this alone for now. For today. We've already done a big move. And this is a nice compression. So I'm going to flick this across to NQ. I'm going to start on the 5 minute for market open and then zoom in after half an hour maybe. So I've got some aggressive sells. Aggressive sells all round. Aggressive buys on euro. But still going down. There was potentially, not that I like trading the open itself, but the entry here was like, if you could have got in on that wick, that would have been really cool, because that was the break of the value area low of the range that we've been trading in for about a week. There's a low volume node there, which adds risk to the position, but I'll see if we come back up. If we come back up and test the low volume node that's still here, then that'll be really interesting. I'm not in this trade. I wish I'd caught it, but I wasn't really watching gold because I was prioritizing other things. So there's a big sell in there. The big sell here for context, for big trade context. On the NAS here we've got a big sell and a big buy. I want to make sure we break the range before we commit to anything really. I want to break this low, or this high. There's a ton of big sells and stuff in here that I can't be aid to mark out. And because of the big sell in here, I'd be tempted to trade it, but because the low volume node, it's risky, obviously. So we've technically broken the value area low. Yeah, we have broken the value area low for this range. You could argue that we've retested it and we're coming back. I'm still not content with that. I want to make sure we see. I want to make sure we see south. So I'm going to take this to a 1 to 2. I'm actually risk free on that. All right. A lot of aggressive sellers on Euro USD. There's a big buy on some big buys here. What's a big sell? Merry Christmas. I'm going to stop paying attention to gold. But that's interesting. That's the first time in like the last week it's broken out of that range, or broken the value area low of it. Anyway, so if it stops me out, that's fine. Yeah, that's me out. But we've got some big buys coming. We could well see this just absorb and then go like flying straight back up, which is fine. If we break this level here, then I'd be interested in buys. But until then, is what it is. As I say, we've got some big buys here. Big trades. Interested to see if they... Like there's a... It's the 5 minute, isn't it? You've got a sell here. So if this level gets broken, that could be spicy. So we wick below, we wick above. End up somewhere in the middle with nothing really happening. I bet the continuation here was a good trade. We'll see. Big buy. So we've got aggressive buyers. So hanging out here is not, you know, it's tempting to say it's going to go long and we want to see it, you know, we want to trade it, but I want to see it break first, because it's so easy to wick and then go down. This is a good lock in if we do break. Open my magic keys. So I want the second drive. So if we pop, I want to get the low volume node and the continuation, or I want to buy stop the wick if it wicks up and then comes back. Okay. Aggressive buyers at the moment, they're hitting a wall a bit. So Actually, that one's a sell. It's weird. Sometimes they come through green and then they like change color when they stop flashing on the indicator. See, if I was being super aggressive, a close through this level would totally be a buy. Looks like we're about to get the first drive. There it is. And that's not closing through so far. So here obviously you've got what have we got? It is that moment where you're always so I want to see a wick, like just a little wick. It's always that moment where you suddenly kind of go, I missed it, right? But it wasn't a valid setup. It can become valid from here, but it's not that yet. But it's always that conversation you end up having with yourself where you're like, oh, I knew it. You never knew it. You never knew nothing. You know? Sure, maybe you can claim you had a hunch. And some of the time a hunch is inevitably right, regardless of whether it was a good one or not. So I've had no more big trades. And realistically, that's what's going to give me an idea for what potential is next. To me, this structure kind of looked obvious. But without any okay, so we've got a big buy there. We've had a couple more buys. It's gone really quick. Now we're at a low volume node. You know, I wasn't wrong, was I? But See what this does. Oh boy. Obviously you've got the low volume node here, so stop flicking about between them. I want to, so we've got more here. There's a lot of buying. It's hard not to have the conversation with yourself about if you just, you know, slung in an entry anyway, regardless of whether it was actually part of your system or not. But obviously it's not something that's going to serve you. Let's look at it on the 5 minute because I find that a bit calmer. So we've got our range, we've got our break, creating our low volume node, which is all of that candle. We've now broke above the value area high on the daily as well as on this range. We've got an aggressive sell here, and an aggressive buy. This could be our add. 2-5. Although we've got two sells, buys and sells, buyers defending. I think that was. See, look at that on the left. You've got your sellers coming in right on cue at the low volume node, trying to get as good an impact as possible. But so far we've had aggressive buyers in as well. My stop's quite tight because if they don't hold, then the whole thing's got a good retracement, got a long way to come back down. So I'd rather be out for a very small loss than anything else really. I'm literally in like that. Because the moment the sellers actually take control, I'm not interested in the continuation, am I? So, that's me. Stops at break even. No risk. Where are we now? It's like the tiniest trade, but also a 1-3 already. And that's the previous daily low as well. if we break this high, there's a big trade there. So if we break that high, I'm going to put my stop like here. There we go. Yeah, that's it. Stops up. If we get stopped out now, that's fine. That's still at least a 1 to 2. But again, if that big trade doesn't follow through, then it's likely that we go lower, because that means that the sellers are taking control. So there's another low volume node up here to be aware of. Cool, that was a good trade. Man, that was fast. That just went. It's so interesting because you, like, psychologically, mentally, you're looking at it, watching it move on the screen, kind of going, "Oh, I've missed it." Yeah, it's so hard not to have that conversation with yourself, whereby you're distracting. You become distracted from the next opportunity and the next step or the next phase of what's going to happen next or what can happen next, because you're spending that, even that split second or that minute in that state of frustration, instead of being with what's happening in front of you. And we are running out of momentum here, and that's fine. Yeah, that's me out of that position now. So it's 1 to 2, just over. And I still believe that we're going to carry on. Because let me see what the profile, the delta profile is. Yeah, I mean, there's very few big cells, and the cells that there aren't bigger than the buys for sure. Far from it. I'm glad we got in here. That was a good entry based on the big trades. Again, if we hold this level here, we've still got potential for higher, but with that, we've got another low volume node there as well, so there is more risk on that. We've got another big trade here. I don't know. Is it telling me it's a buy? Yes, it is. So that's buyers defending, which is good to see. See, there's a lot of sells, and there aren't many big trades coming in from the sellers. The bigger trades are from the buyers. Now I don't want to buy. I don't want to buy in here after we've come back in this fashion, because we've got this. This is all low volume node really. And this is also the model of breaking the value area low, retesting via the low volume node that was made from the break, and then continuation lower. So I think that this is more probable than the kind of decision level like that. See, this doesn't surprise me at all. I still wanted the bullish move, but my entry, because it was there and not, a lot of the time I get an entry like right here, and then your risk to reward is good, but I can't cover this whole thing with my stop loss. It just doesn't make any sense. It's impossible to have a good risk. So we've still got some zero prints a bit higher on gold here. So I still think we could come up here in testing the low volume node before we go down. We've not had any more big trades on this. We've had no big sellers coming in. We've had no big buyers coming in since we peaked here. There's a sell. Aggressive sellers. So as I said, we've got some zero prints in here. So I want to see them filled and then look for a short. If we just fly, then that's fine, because I can look on the other side of the value area for something else. But it's risky for me to play within, like, inside this range really, if we come higher than those, fill in those zero prints and then rejecting. So it's a good time to zoom back out, because a lot of the time I get sucked into the 1 minute without seeing the higher time frame version of what's happening in a way that means that I can do anything about it. So we've got sells here. You've got these buys here. I'm actually going to make a new instance of cluster delta for NQ, because I've got that on gold now. again because of the space below. Unless there's like aggressive buys that come in here, I'm staying out of the buy to continue. So I haven't had an aggressive buy, and maybe these zero prints didn't need to get filled in order to make this trade, and that was a perfectly valid break and retest of the value area. Who knows? Because I don't. Now it looks like we're. Yeah, to me, I still see that going a bit lower. So I'm not in this. I was in this. I got stopped out in profit, and now I'm waiting for something to. I do think we could form a base and then squeeze again from here. Let me just look at the profile. Because so the profile on my MetaTrader has shifted quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to map the move. So what I'm doing in terms of profile mapping is I'm mapping this as being the new range. It looks like trash on here compared to on MetaTrader. And then I'm also going to map the previous. Yeah, I mean the value area was like here. There's a lot of volume coming here, like a lot. Some aggressive sellers in here. Will the sellers create a squeeze? Buyers seem to have managed to defend this level here. I'm actually not entirely sure how to play this, which is why I'm not trading it. This low volume node is too big for me to put a comfortable stop. You've got a sell here, you've got a buy here, or a couple of buys here. And on the profile on MetaTrader, there's a low volume node right there that has been tapped and had a response from. Quite cleanly, actually. So this is like that low volume node is the level. And if sellers do take that, then that's all right. So we've got a big buy. I'm involved, and thanks to that big buy, I can move my stop straight away. I am risk-free. Because if this becomes a failed high, then it will become the like it often happens like this, to be fair. But because of that big buy there and the big sell, like the sell and the buy together, means I can put my stop there, and then if those get broken, then we're going lower anyway because the sellers are taking control. In the lingo of auction market, what's your face theory? So that's cool. Yeah, this is a smaller position than the last one because it's kind of because we've come back under some big trade buys basically. As long as we hold this low volume node here, which is also there's also like a big buy delta spike in here. Does that stop me out? Not quite. Was another. So yeah, this level here has to hold, but this could not break the high here, and if that happens, then this is the new like requirement decision level for like moving higher or taking another buy. If this becomes a failed high, then this will be the required level to break in order to take another buy. But what often happens is you get a failed new high, and then we might consolidate for ages or just go south from here. I mean, ideally for me, being in the buy now, I'd rather it was a continuation. It's another aggressive sell. And again, like while we're in this tight range, every single sell that you see is another is fuel for the squeeze on the basis that we're bullish. We've broken the value area high, and now we're continuing. It's a trending day, and that's what we want to make the most of. This has been less interesting than I thought it would be. Euro seems to have run out of steam. They had plenty of it, to be fair. And then if I review mentally this structure here, there's not even any point putting the profile on it. It's just they're just not good on TradingView. Yeah, I look at this, I kind of think we're going down. It's a downwards trending day, not an upwards trending day. Then I think, well, this is the compression before New York. This is the move out for New York, for the open of the session. Why wouldn't that continue over, London session and the Asian session moving down? What's the most important session? Where's most of the value? New York, obviously, but we're in a downtrend. Yesterday's profile was a B, which is bearish. Day before, P for positive. Yeah, I think this is going to be a failed new high, and we're going to go lower now. Because we've got ourselves a B. We've found our low volume node. We've stalled. Continuation next. We might pop to this low volume node up above it first. That'd be fine. That'd suit us. That would suit me. These are quite small trades compared to the euro trades. Maybe they don't look it. Oh, there you go. And now I can move my stop to below this. Big trade. So my stop loss is like in here. And I want to be quick to move my stop as well, because there's that the next low volume node up. There. There we go. But that's good for the continuation. That's promising. For me, that's now I'll wait and see how far we get. We had one successful trade, and then we've entered again. I entered again because also I saw the buy delta level here. The fact that these buyers here got protected, and there were some sells that came in with no real follow through. Nothing really happened from them. Now we've broken again. And I'm stopped out in profit. One more time. See if we go lower from here. That'd be interesting. Maybe I took my risk off too soon. Or maybe the B profile is gonna send us. Yeah. It's interesting because it's just all about waiting, seeing what happens, and then trying to respond to it pretty much instantaneously. The trap or the entire game is basically just doing everything you can mentally to not be anticipating or betting on the thing doing the thing you think it might do. Like, I know it sounds or seems like that's all I'm doing, but I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying as hard as I can to observe and respond to what has happened and what is happening, not what I think is going to happen. So yeah, I still think we can go higher from here, but am I going to enter again on the basis that I think that should happen next? No. I'm fine with, I mean, in a way, arguably that was an 8-1, which is kind of crazy. To me, this looks like yeah. Not many big sells yet, though. I think that'll come when we break this this level. There's no low volume node in here because this is just a consolidation range now, or a compression, should we say. We're still we're still potentially gathering for the squeeze. So the value area on the daily profile is where we're at now. We're at the value area high of the daily profile because it's shifted up because of the volume that's come in at this level. So at this point, I'm tempted to say that we can. I'd be tempted now to trade the break of the range. Because if you segment it out, really, yes, you've got a B on the daily, but what have you really got? You've got a D, and a P. Yeah. So you've got a you've got a trend coming down, finding balance. Is that a D? Is that a P? Maybe. And you've got the high time frame objective of that big gap that we've tapped and then had quite a big response from since then. Still bullish. I'm still bullish, but I'm not sure. I'm not entirely convinced there's anything else to trade. And if there is, it's not here yet. So now gold is here. Let's have a look at that. Fill in these as as predicted. Got that on there as well, which is a little bit more. Sheesh. So what do we got? Got to buy. We got any big orders on gold? No. Interested to see how this closes. Are we going to squeeze? I think so. Well, that's how that's closed. So that's removed any entry for me, unless we crash back down straight away on the next closure. So what have we got here on? It looks like another squeeze, but we've broken the value area high. So is it a wick or is it an actual move? Held this level. Kind of big buys all the way up here. Big trades. Big sell coming in. aggressive sales. So I think that's that really. Looks like this is holding. This is the value area high on the daily profile. The low volume node that was made from the move down overnight. Because of these low volume nodes, there's nothing that I'm not gonna try and hop in a short on anything breaking this little range in here. Because we can just wick and carry on. So we're looking at, and that's going down at the same time as as gold. So we've got buys coming in there. So this is the delta level now. I presume buyers are want to defend here. And we have got a couple of buys. Delta is quite negative. Break this, I consider sellers back in control. I expect aggressive sells any minute now, really. We're back at the original low volume node that we got the response from the trade from before. Are we getting? Are we getting sellers absorbed, or are we getting sellers taken over? Sellers taken over. So, looking at what is going to be valid next. Now we've got this low volume node. Yeah. So I'm bearish from here. There could be a response here, but we've had buyers take control, run out of steam, kind of hit the wall like a few times in a row now. Not breaking this level. Now we're in this low volume node here, and we're approaching the value area high for this range. We've also met the daily profile value area high. So if you're trading from the daily profile, you're in a mean reversion sell right now. Potentially. Now expanding the profile out. I mean, this is just tickling the low volume node now, or the main one from what created the move. Arguably here this is the first time we've actually got to the point of retesting the low volume node that we made on the impulse higher. Now this is a low volume node and makes more sense. We've got an aggressive buyer coming in here. Buyers are finding sellers. And this is where it gets so like subjective, because if you're looking at two different time frames, you're seeing two completely different pictures of the same price. Because I'm looking at this range now, I'm looking at that we broke out at the value area high, and now we're retesting the low volume node that was part of the move that made the break from the value area, and then this is the retest now. So if you see, and then I've got an aggressive buyer come in, so it's looking, based on that, quite valid. But because of how we consolidated here and broke below the buy delta here, unless we get something. So we've covered there's a 0% error imbalance. There's another one way down here. And that's this low volume node down here. It's even below that. It's down, so right down here somewhere. So there was a lot of interest when we hit the low volume node. So far we've gone straight through it, and then here, look, we're back within the value area of this range. We're right near the point of control. Yeah, there's no way I can justify a buy anymore. That was the last chance saloon, was this level here. I'm content with how I played it. This is interesting. Speculating but not trading at the moment. You watch this close now, like perfectly for a buy. It's so strange when the value area high, the point of control is so close as well. Yeah, I'm bearish now. That was the low volume node that we tapped. If we were going higher, we'd have gone higher from there, not higher from here. Now if we look for anything, it'll be down here, and I think I'm done for the day because it's 4 o'clock already. And I'm fatigued enough. I'm interested to see if this sell would have played out. I haven't taken it, but it's an interesting trade for me because it meets some criteria, but so much of the time with gold you get like a spike down and then just kind of creeps back up all the way. We'll see. Oh, and here we go. One of the many possible realities coming true. Having said that, no, it's just a low volume node there. So I'll come in there. See, I'm only interested now if we break below. Don't tell me we're going. We're going. We're going for the P. Surely not. Is this the wick of the LVN? Or is this the continuation lower? Yeah. I think I just want to have a bullish bias. Yep. We've got some aggressive buyers there than getting squished. Or have we? What's the truth here? What is it? Come on. You got 30 seconds on the 5-minute candle. Make your mind up. I find it quite tough when you've got conflicting profiles. You know, because if I look at the daily, that's a mean reversion sell. Maybe a buy down here, depending. Sellers didn't let price go higher than this. And if we look at can look at this section and kind of say, well, this is, I mean, similar point of control, just very different value area, because it's not taking into account the massive trending day downwards. Now, I think it's clear to say it's a bearish trend, right? So I've been counter trading. Part of the reason I was buying is because we've come back to this gap and responded from it, but that doesn't mean we're not going to go and fill the thing. I think I'm just going to set an alert for either side. So I've got an alert for the bear, and then an alert for the break up here. Because there's going to be a squeeze here because there was a lot of buyers. So if we do come back up, but there's no way I'm happy buying from where we are now, because we're at the point of control. We're within the value area high again. I mean, the reason it's tricky is because maybe. This is not, we haven't broken the value area high. We've come back, filled the low volume node, and now we're testing it. Which is in line with everything that I normally trade. But it's because it's the point of control as well. There's been no more big trades in here. It's got to go lower. I guess it's not particularly reliable when the point of control, the value area low and the value area high are so close. But this is a very definitive level that was broken. Yeah, I'm done for the day. All right. I don't need to torment myself with these ideas any longer. But for whatever reason, I'm finding it hard not to watch. There we go. Alright, I am done. I am out of patience.